Welcome to Herf Zone Live. I am here every Tuesday to bring you the best content weekly. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, search for Team Shirtless Mike, and follow on Facebook at Shirtless Mike. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Shirtless Mike 2020, see what goes on in my life, and hopefully I can see what goes on in yours. Herf Zone Live is expanding. Get your product in front of hundreds of viewers every single week. Let me advertise your cigar or product to my audience. DM me, let's exchange information and get you a part of the Team Shirtless Mike team. What is going on, everybody? If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and leave comments down below throughout the show. And if you're watching on the Shirtless Mike Facebook page, leave comments because this is going to be an awesome show tonight. I hope everybody has had a good day. It's been an awesome day for me. Just another busy day at work. So let's see here. We got Greg Free. What's up, brother? Fuerte Libre in the house. And what's up, Uncle Larry, one of my loyal viewers here. So so tonight we got an awesome show lined up. We got Rojo Corojo. She's waiting patiently down in the green room right now and all that good stuff. So make sure you check out www.teamshirtlessmike.com. You could also watch this broadcast on there via YouTube. So I've done a lot of stuff to the website. You can get swag and stuff like that on there. So go ahead and check out the website. The information is in the broadcast description. So it's going to be an awesome show tonight. So without further ado, from the Hustler Universe Podcast Network Green Room, where you'll find the Cigar Hustlers podcast and the Chet and Palmer Shit Show, welcome to Herf Zone Live. Hannah, aka Rojo Corojo. How you doing?
Hey.
What an intro, right?
I love it.
See, I think if you would have had a bio, I need to start doing bios on people, or start reciting people's bios, and make people sound like super important, because you are important. You come on the show.
I'm not. I'm just a cigar smoker like everyone else.
But we got quite a few people watching here. Got Kara, last week's guest. She's showing love and down in the comments there. I think I put her comment on the screen. But how was your day today?
It was good. It was busy, per usual, but it was good. It's good. Just looking forward to smoking a cigar and relaxing and just kind of unwinding at the end of the day.
Okay,
how about you?
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So most recently, I just saw through, the beautiful World Wide Web and, Instagram and all that. You actually came to Florida, down to Miami, right?
I did.
So tell us about, that trip, coming to Florida. Was this your first time in Miami or Florida?
My first time in Miami. It was pretty incredible, actually. I didn't know how just like culturally rich Miami was, and I need to brush up on my Spanish for sure next time I go.
Yeah, nobody speaks English in Miami.
Yes.
I've only been twice, and I had to have a Haitian order in Spanish for me.
Yeah. No, but it was really fun. They have really good food, and it was fun being somewhere where cigars are just a bigger portion of just the culture and life down in Miami. So that was really cool. It was more like a content trip. So just went down there to get content with CLE and Aroa and Asylum. So it was a good time. I had a good time. Yeah.
No, I've been seeing a lot of, because obviously, you're a redhead and, you like to smoke the CLE Corojo. We see that a lot on Instagram. But are you actually, partnering up with CLE and Christian Aroa and them?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about that.
Yeah, right now I just have like a small contract with them, and just doing some content and partnering up on a few different things. So hopefully I'll be going to Honduras soon with them and touring the farm and factory. So we'll see when that'll get scheduled in the next few months. But yeah, nice. It's been fun.
Nice. So this, I've seen you on. You've been on a couple other podcasts. The most recent one I saw you on was the Burn Down podcast. I
Yeah.
try to ask the different types of questions, try to get the full scope of
Yeah.
things, on my show and everything. So let's go from the beginning here. So, where you were originally from? How did you grow up? Basically, how did you get from there to where you're at now?
Yeah. Born and raised in Portland, Oregon. We moved to the Boise, Idaho area about a little over a year ago. And I'm the youngest of four kids. And when we moved to Idaho, my husband took a job of the GM of a cigar shop here in Meridian, Idaho, which is a suburb of Boise, called The Vault. So we moved out here, and Portland was just getting a little bit too crazy for us, and we wanted somewhere just a little bit more manageable and a good place to raise a family and that sort of thing. So moved on over, and that's a few months after we left. Portland is kind of when I started my Instagram page, and from there it's just been a pretty crazy journey, but it's been fun.
Nice. So, like growing up in Portland, my dad lives on the Pacific Northwest. He's from Washington State. I have not been to Portland, but I know people from that area, and all that. And there's a lot of craziness that goes down. Like,
Yeah.
has it always been that bad, or has it, over the last, however many years, just kept getting
No.
worse?
Yeah, it has definitely not been that bad. I mean, the Portland that it is today is not the same Portland that it was 10 or 15 years ago. I used to love living in Portland. But unfortunately, it just kind of got to a point where it was just not super sustainable to be able to live the life that we wanted to live there. And like crime is way up, and there was just a bunch of different things. We were like, you know what, we just need to find somewhere new. And my husband Jeff had lived in Boise 6 years previously, and so he loved it here, and he knew I would love it, and so everything just kind of fell into place really effortlessly. So packed up all of our things, and we got the heck out of Dodge.
Heck yeah. Now, you personally, before getting into the industry and all that, how did you start, getting interested in cigars and ultimately, smoking cigars?
So around the time I was around 23 or 24, I lived with some family friends for a short time after I graduated from college, and they were really big cigar smokers, and they'd smoke cigars every night. And eventually it just kind of got to a point where I got curious enough to want to try a cigar. And obviously in the beginning it was kind of a slow progression. But kind of within the next couple of years after that, I started to dive into it a lot more. And I think it was around 2016 was like the first time that I purchased my own cigar at like a cigar shop, which was the Flor de las Antillas by my father. So that was my first like big girl cigar that I got. And so yeah, ever since then I've been really involved, and not necessarily like in the cigar industry, but that's kind of when my love for cigars was born.
Yeah. So the Flor de las Antillas, that was your first cigar that you actually went out and purchased. Like,
Yes.
so what was the process like for you, like on developing your palate? Did you like develop relationships with somebody at a shop and, and be like, okay, this is what I'm liking, and have somebody kind of curate that for you? Or did you just like pick up everything and just and be like, okay, let me try this, let me try that, all over the place, like what was that process like for you?
Yeah. Well, I had a pretty close relationship with some of the owners of a shop in Portland, and that's actually where Jeff was working at the time. And whenever I would go in there to like buy a cigar, they would always help me like pick something out, and I'd be like, oh, I really liked this cigar, and I really liked this cigar, and they'd be like, okay, well, you probably really like this. And I was very like adventurous in the humidor. I just was willing to pretty much smoke just about anything. I didn't shy away from any of the really full-bodied cigars. And so I just wanted to get out there and start smoking a bunch of different cigars and figure out what I liked and what I didn't like and why I liked it, and just try to learn as much as I could. And just over the progression of the years, I mean, you just kind of pick up different things in your repertoire, and eventually you kind of figure out what kind of cigars you gravitate towards, and what you like and don't like. And like later on, after Jeff and I got married, I mean, Jeff is very, very knowledgeable. I really trust his palate. So, I mean, he's always been a really incredible resource for me too. So
That's awesome. So he was working at the shop that you were going to. Is that kind of how you guys met? Or how
kind
did you
of.
meet?
We actually we were going to the same church at the time, so that's kind of where we met.
That's nice. Meeting in church. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, being single, I like to, get to know people, ask people's like couple origin story and all that, like, because some people got some wild stories about how they met. So
Yeah. No, ours is not too wild, but
yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of people don't know about me. I kind of got a background like in church or whatever. I kind of, I used to be, like I kind of started off being. I was a part of like churches that, believed in like the whole prosperity movement or whatever, name it and claim it. And then, and then I kind of got into the more reformed or Calvinistic side of things. And, that's kind of how I got into cigars. So, because people that are on the Calvinistic, doctrines of grace, they believe in Christian liberty. So,
Yeah.
they're not all super uptight and religious. So I started smoking cigars with some buddies at church and
Nice.
all that. So like, so you pretty much grew up in the church then. Like, what kind of background was that, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. I did grow up in the church. It was just like a non-denominational Christian church in Portland, and so
Nice.
nothing too crazy there, but
Nice. Now, I used to like back when I got into like the more reformed theology, side of things. I used to listen to Mark Driscoll, when he was in Seattle, like back in the day, and he was kind of like, he was reformed, but he was like kind of edgy because he was in a very, a very hipster
what
centric,
church what church did he run in Seattle?
Mars Hill Church.
Mars Hill. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, no, no, no.
that
But
didn't
see, he
end
was the
well, from
guy. See, I
my
liked him
understanding.
because I was on that notion of like the churches that I went to, they believed in like biblical manhood and womanhood and gender roles and all that type of stuff. So like Mark Driscoll went on a rant one time. There's like a whole YouTube rant, and he's like talking about men who basically talking about toxic masculinity. Men who try to like rule over women, and he was like, "How dare you? Who the hell do you think you are?" So
Yeah,
I've
I don't
I've
know a
had
ton
influences
about.
all over.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about Mark Driscoll. I just know he's pretty progressive, and
Yeah,
Mars Hill did not end well, from my understanding. So I don't know.
yeah. And I don't, I was a part of another controversial network of churches or whatever, but you know, and then the pastor of the main church or whatever, he just recently became an atheist or whatever, like, which I'm not. Like, I may not be in church or whatever, but like, I still believe in God. I still believe in good
Yeah,
solid teaching and all that. And
that's
you
kind of
know,
where we're at too.
yeah. I mean, we all go through our journey, because I mean, I guess if you grew up like a certain way, even though I wasn't really made to go to church, like I kind of just went on my own
Mhm.
type thing. And my boy Brian Lewis says he believes in tobacco.
I believe in
But
tobacco too.
yeah, me too. I believe in tobacco. It's a good method of fellowship. So
Yeah,
either way, however you put it, you can find, who knows, maybe I'll get back into it. I'll be, I'll be preaching shirtless in the street one day.
yeah. So, did you
But
grow up in Washington?
No, I grew up here in Florida. My
Okay.
dad, like 10 years ago, moved to Washington State.
Oh, okay.
He lives in Lake Stevens area, so
Yeah.
I mean it's. I came close to moving because he used to live in Edmonds, so I came really close to moving out there. But I was like, no, I'm way too Florida for this place.
Yeah.
It's too
Yeah.
cold.
It's definitely a lot more gray up there than in Florida. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Less
Eh,
humid though. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was there during the summertime in 2016 because my dad broke his ankle, and then at the
Mm,
time, he was the sole caregiver to my grandfather, and I used to be a CNA, so I kind of was in between jobs, and then he was like, "Hey, I'll fly you out here, instead of
mm,
paying the agency, I'll pay you, and because you could go up and down the stairs and all that." I said, "I'm in." So I was there for like 4 months, and then came this close to moving out there, but I was like, once my dad got to where he could go up and down stairs and healed up and all that, I said, okay, I'm out of
yeah.
here.
Yeah. No, Florida's a good spot. If
Yeah, most definitely.
that's definitely like I would say the humidity is like the hardest thing for me when I go down there, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
not too bad. I'm just kind of a wimp,
Now
so
you know why I'm always shirtless because it's hot here in
yeah.
Florida. It kind of just happened by accident, and I
Hmm.
just turned it into a whole movement. So, but
Yeah, you
yeah,
kind of
so
trademarked that, didn't you?
yeah,
Hmm.
so yeah, so now I'm known like all the major players. If you mention shirtless Mike, if they even if they never met me, they know who Shirtless Mike is. So it makes me
Yeah,
feel good, like literally starting from nothing to something.
yeah. No, that's
But
cool.
yeah, let's see where we're gonna go with this, because we had that in common of kind of growing up in like the church type thing and all that. So, but now you're in the cigar industry full time. You work at the same shop as your husband Jeff,
Yeah,
right? So he's a manager. Like, what's your role in the shop in the vault? Are you just like work retail or?
yeah. So I'm just like a part-time tobacconist there, and then I also do some of the background work for the because we have our liquor license, and so I do some of the ordering and kind of background stuff for the bar area too. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So you're kind of
we
like me.
wear a
You're
lot of
like,
hats over there.
you do a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. So like being a tobacconist, and somebody walks into this shop, like, um, say, hypothetically speaking, so, say I want something like real full body, where are you taking me in your humidor?
We have, well, in our humidor, we have a pretty diverse, we've curated the humidor pretty diversely in terms of trying to balance it with having a good handful of boutique brands and some more mainstream. Um, so if you are looking for something, really full bodied for full flavor, I would probably point you to um, something in the Espinosa core line. I love their full bodied cigars, like the new one that just came out by Guy Fieri, the Knuckle
Yeah.
Sandwich, or the Laranja Azulejo. It's like one
Hmm.
of my favorites. So, but there's a bunch of different brands that have a lot of really good full bodied cigars. So it just kind of depends on, if people know what kind of tobacco they like, from where, that kind of give me a few different details to try to point them in the direction that they'll enjoy.
Yeah, most definitely. Uh, a really full body cigar that I've smoked recently is I don't know if you've ever heard of Cordoba Morales cigars. They're a boutique brand. Z is a friend of mine who lives in like the Sanford area, basically like outside of Orlando. And
Hmm.
he came out with a cigar called the Nika Reaper, and it's a
Oh,
hundred
nice.
percent. It's 100% Lajero.
Oh, geez.
And that's cigar, but it may sound like it's gonna kick your ass or whatever. Like, if maybe it might, depending on what you used to smoking. But it was actually really balanced
Nice.
and really good. Like, it was just really spicy.
Hmm.
Like, I was smoking it, and then I had to eat afterwards because normally I only eat like twice a day, and I ate an okay breakfast, but normally I eat a better breakfast. So,
Yeah, I need a
you know,
little snack after that
I,
one.
I had to eat. I had to go to Domino's next door and get me a sandwich and all that.
Hmm.
So, and but yeah, so you're in the industry full time. You kind of pointed me, as far as being a tobacconist. Like, so What are some of your favorite parts about working in a cigar shop, but also what are your least favorite parts?
My favorite parts are probably the regulars that come in. Obviously,
Same.
every cigar shop is going to have their group of regulars that frequent the shop all the time, and I just really enjoy the group of people that come in all the time, and so I just enjoy the opportunity to build relationships with them, and also just to meet new people too. I think that's kind of the beauty of cigars is it brings people in from all walks of life, and um, so yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite parts is being able to establish relationships not only with regulars but with the new people. Least favorite part. Um, I don't have a lot of least favorites, but I mean, in whatever kind of retail environment that you work in, you're always going to get the assholes that come in. So
Yeah.
they're kind of no fun. But other than that, there's not a lot of really prominent negatives that I can think of.
Yeah, most definitely. There's very few for me. Like whenever we get like a lot of orders like in one day, like so if we get like 10 boxes that show up full of cigars, which I like the selling of the cigars, but having to put them in the system, determine what needs to go out on the shelf, what
Yeah.
needs to be backstocked, that's very time consuming. And I prefer to, interact with customers and,
Yeah.
and just sell cigars. But at the same time, that's part of the cost of selling a lot of cigars. You got to
Yeah.
restock that. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I also really enjoy just being able to share like my favorite blends in the humidor with people who are wanting to try something new, and um, yeah, just helping people also find like a good smoke that they're looking for. I think in any retail environment, it's gratifying to be able to help the customer find something that they're gonna love. So
absolutely. Now, do you have a lot of women who smoke cigars that come to your shop? Because where I'm at, we don't. We have some, but it's like in like South Brevard County where I live, there's a
yeah,
lot more women. But where I work is like different. Like there's hardly any, a few. But I wish
yeah,
there was a lot more women.
there's not a lot, not a lot that come in. Yeah, most of the customers that come in while I'm working are mostly men, but you get some women that come in, or if there are women that come in, they're usually shopping for their husband or significant other or whatever. So, but even if I think being like a female tobacconist, like I really enjoy even when women come in to like look for a gift because I think like on some level, um, it's less intimidating to like chat with me about
Yeah.
finding a right cigar, because the cigar industry can be really intimidating for people to approach.
Hmm.
So it's fun to be able to connect with people who are looking for gifts or wanting something for themselves or whatever it may be.
Yeah, most definitely. I do have to take a quick break real quick and shout out my other sponsor, and then we got a lot more to talk about. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
uh
shout it
let
out.
yeah, let me just hold on, I gotta get to where I can put their picture up. Okay, so I'm gonna put you down below and bring you right back up
Okay.
once I'm done shouting them out. All right. So, Herf Zone Live is sponsored by Nomos Cigars, rated 91 in Cigars and Spirits magazine. Nomos is a full body 6x56 cigar that features a rich, full flavor accomplished with our high quality construction and exclusive aging process. Once the fine cigar is born, it immediately begins our exclusive Nomos Aging Process nap. While each cigar naps, it continues to develop its unique aroma and flavor that sets itself apart from any other cigar the world over. It is a delicious medium smoke resulting from the finely aged Cameroon wrapper and blend of an 8-year-old Seco Dominican filler and 5-year-old Nicaragua Criollo filler. The Indonesian Sumatran binder finishes the cigar ingredients with the finest quality tobacco available. This exclusive blend provides a beautiful smoke right down to the last nub. Check out nomoscigars.com for info on where to find retailers that carry Nomos cigars orders also available on their website. Also follow them on Instagram at Nomos Cigars. Alrighty, we are back now, and now let's see the next topic we'll get into here. So, uh, about how long have you been officially like on Instagram at this point? It hasn't been that long, right?
No, it was a year in the beginning of September, so just over a year.
Oh, okay, cool. So,
Hmm.
what like I know you have a personal Instagram, but then you got the cigar related one. Like, what made you decide to want to put yourself out there, like as far as doing cigar related content on Instagram?
Yeah, so my husband and we smoke cigars together every night, and we were sitting out on the back porch last September, and he has an Instagram page that he's had for a few years, and I was looking through his Instagram page, and I kind of went on a rabbit hole to like, I didn't realize that there were so many different cigar accounts. And I'd stumbled upon a few different female accounts, and I looked at my husband Jeff, and I was like, I could do this. And he's like, yeah, you could. He's like, open it up if you want to, like, get in there. I was like, okay, I'm doing it. So that next day, I was kind of just brainstorming different handle ideas, and Rojo Corojo was the top pick for me, so I went for it.
I mean, it's very unique.
Yeah.
You're a redhead. You like to smoke Corojo wrapper,
Yeah.
Rojo Corojo.
Yeah. Well, I wanted something that was clean, and memorable, and also applicable to me and like what my page is about. So that's why it seemed like the best option. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been.
And it seems like when I first started following, which I don't remember when I follow people. I just hit the follow button, but you know, you kind of you just had like the regular pictures that you had smoking a cigar, and then you kind of go on to like the reels started getting popular,
Yeah.
and that's where Rojo Corojo just totally like blew up into what it is today. So actually, Greg from Greg Free here. He asked, "How many hours a day do you spend creating content?" So, give us an inside glimpse of somebody who does reels. Like that's all you pretty
Mhm.
much, for the most part, post. Like, how time
Yeah.
consuming is that?
It really depends on the day. I don't create content every day. Usually, if I'm going to designate a chunk of time where I'm going to create content, I try to film as much content as I can in that like chunk of time. I try to at least film once or twice a week. It's not always twice. Sometimes it's once. Sometimes it's not at all. So I think that's kind of the difficulty of like being on social media and creating reels, is that you're constantly chasing the next trend and what's going
Hmm.
to do well and all these different things. And it can be kind of exhausting sometimes, just try to think of different ideas. I mean, it's different than just a static photo.
Oh yeah,
A static photo does not require as much forethought as a reel. So, um, if anything at all, I would say, you know, trying to come up with the ideas for the content can take even more time, or editing or that sort of thing. So there's a lot of things that go into it, especially, being a female on there. Like I don't just roll out of bed and like film content. So that's why I don't film every
yeah,
day, is because I have to get fully ready and
yeah. And you
hone it
got
in.
outfit changes half the time. I've seen some
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah, there's outfit changes. There's a whole thing. So, um, yeah, I mean, like part of me really does miss doing the static photos. I've tried to kind of add those in a little bit more lately, especially since like Instagram uh, does not like tobacco very much, and
Yeah.
so that can be kind of difficult on the real side. They offered me to like monetize on my reels, but I have found that a lot of my, like if I try to monetize on the video, let me back up a little bit. Like you have the like community guidelines for any content that you post on social media. And then if you try to monetize, they have another layer of filtration, I guess, for the monetization guidelines. And it's a lot tighter. So I just found that a lot of my reels were getting flagged for no reason. I mean, they don't give you a specific reason if they flag your reel. And that was always pretty frustrating because, you know, you dump so much time and energy and, you know, creative energy into your content. And it's pretty deflating to get it demonetized because after it's been flagged, Instagram won't necessarily push the video as much. So it won't do as well after it's been flagged. So that's just always kind of been a tough thing to try to like navigate around. And Instagram is full of different glitches and stuff. And so like lately they haven't allowed you to like choose out of monetizing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it, but I would say the Reels portion has been definitely a learning experience. It's been really fun too, just to figure out kind of my own style in the Reels realm, I guess, and try to figure out what kind of content I enjoy making, and also trying to weave that in with what kind of content will do well. So
there's definitely that fine balance there. And I haven't dug in that deep with reels, like, because I need to get a better phone. Like the phone that I have, I'm at the age now, I just use the phone until I can't possibly use it anymore, and then that's when I go out and buy a new phone. So my phone has tons of cracks from dropping it all the damn time and all that. But I've dug in a little bit. I remember the first time I attempted to do a transition, I tagged you. I was like, "Oh, look at my transition!" Like, how difficult is that to get that right? Because I have not perfected it yet. I think you have to get it down to like the second.
Yes.
The very second. Am I right?
Yes. I mean, and some of it just you just have to know how to like cut and splice the clips in order for it to look smooth. And that is certainly a learning experience. Plus, different transitions are harder than others, you know, and so part of the difficulty too is like after you've gotten all your content and you go to the editing phase, I guess, and then if it doesn't line up well, or if things don't work out, like it's hard to still be able to salvage that content.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of videos that I've made that nobody's ever seen because I didn't think that it made the final cut, but yeah.
Yeah, I know you do bloopers every once in a while, you know, which is it's kind of entertaining, you know, to watch the bloopers and everything. So I saw that one of the latest transition videos that you did, and you were running through like a field, and all of a sudden you were on the beach in Miami.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty
That one
dope.
did take a little bit of forethought because I got the second clip while I was in Miami. Obviously, I was on Miami Beach. And then the first clip I got when I came back to Idaho. And I went to some like random person's farm field to get the clip. And I like pulled over on the shoulder because it's like a really soft shoulder, obviously. And I was like sitting in my car, like trying to build up the courage to like get out and like film a few clips and be like, okay, well, I hope one of these turn out well because I'm not coming back if it doesn't.
So basically, you trespassed on somebody's property.
I did do that. I did do that. Yeah. Because there was like people driving by, and I just had to be like one of those idiots that was out there like with my phone, you know. But yeah, that reel was fun to make.
Yeah,
even if cool. I had to trespass.
Yeah, it was cool. Most definitely. You know, I shouldn't even. She was not trespassing, ladies and gentlemen. She had full permission to be on that person's property.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because it's something that I almost forgot about asking. But growing up, you were an athlete. You still are an athlete, I guess. Even whether or not you play, but you know, on the Burn Down podcast, you guys were talking about being like a hardcore athlete, but still smoking cigars and all that. And I know a
Yeah.
lot of people who they do hard workouts, but they still smoke a lot of cigars. Um,
Hmm.
so talk to us about that balance. I'm sure you don't smoke as much as other people, but like how do you achieve that balance of smoking a lot of cigars and but
Yeah.
still remaining in shape?
Yeah. I grew up playing soccer. I played all through college. My senior season, we actually won the national title, which was pretty fun. And I still play. There's a semi-pro team here in Idaho that I play for. And then Jeff is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and so I started a martial art was something that I've always wanted to do. So I've been really excited to start that recently. Um, and so I think a lot of people have a hard time conceptualizing a balance and of smoking cigars and still living a healthy lifestyle, and I think because athletics and sports or soccer or whatever it may be has always been a really big part of my life. That's always been kind of a priority of mine, is to still stay active and continue to do what I can when I can do it for however long I can do it. So yeah, I think because there are so many misconceptions with cigars and the health of cigars, a lot of people have a hard time. I don't know. I guess just recognizing that there is such thing as a healthy balance, and I think it even cigars for me even goes beyond just the physical health. I guess I recently like kind of thought of cigars as like my mental health food. You know,
Yeah.
where for me, like cigars have just been really grounding and relaxing, and I just really enjoy like the ritual and the culture around cigars, and I think all of those different components, whether it's like mental health, physical health, all these different things can kind of converge together to create a balanced lifestyle. Um, but again, I think because of a lot of the misconceptions of cigars and the uh, health effects of cigars per se. Um,
Yeah.
People have a hard time like recognizing like the lifestyle that I live is like I still believe that I'm continuing to live a balanced, healthy lifestyle even if I do smoke cigars.
Yeah. And paired with the fact that there's just a lot of unhealthy fat asses that smoke cigars. Me being one of them. I'm sure I need to start
I didn't
working out.
say
I've
that.
lost
I
a
didn't
lot of
say
weight,
that.
but at the same time, I got to start working out and all that because it will take a toll no matter if you're inhaling or not. I don't
Yeah.
inhale, but I definitely, um, yeah, I definitely, uh, need to work out because it still takes a toll somewhat. So
Yeah. Well, and cigars too. I mean, I think, there's obviously been quite a few professional athletes who have very openly and publicly smoked cigars. Like Michael Jordan would smoke a cigar before every basketball game.
the man smokes 6 cigars a day.
Yeah, like here's one of the greatest athletes that ever lived. Who smokes before every single game, and obviously like he's not in there. It would be way different if he was in there like sucking down some cigarettes.
Yeah,
Um, so I really do hope that in the future there will be more research and understanding and recognition for cigars, because I think the average person thinks that you inhale cigars, and like you don't, or you're not supposed to anyway. So
yeah. Oh, I know people who do, and I'm like, how
mhm.
did you not die already?
Mhm.
I guess it's just the way you look at it. So,
Yeah.
but like beyond Instagram, like what are some things? I know you got the situation with CLE and all that, but what are some things that you hope to be doing in the future? There was a question down here about you possibly developing your like your own online show concept. Has that ever been thought of by you, or
Um,
has that
I've
not
thought
come up
about
yet?
it. One of my actually the owner of the vault and I have been kind of dreaming of doing some sort of podcast together, and so um, we're kind of starting to construct a studio and get things, humming and buzzing in that area, and um, hopefully trying to develop a few different projects with different companies and that sort of thing. When I started my Instagram, I don't know if I necessarily had um, a specific vision or dream with it. It was just kind of like a fun outlet for me, and especially over the past year, it's kind of morphed into a little career for me, which has been really fun and exciting, and
Yeah,
just being able to learn so much and meet so many new people, um, and just really be able to experience the fullness of the cigar community. So
yeah.
that's been a really fun progression, but hopefully other things will come too, and we'll see about the possible podcast that's coming, and I'll definitely let everybody know if there's anything new on the horizon. So
Yeah, most definitely. I think that
yeah,
would definitely be cool. You just have to, it takes a while to get used to, to doing like a show, like a formatted show like we were talking about before the show. I used to keep super detailed notes, and then now I don't even really use notes. It's just a
yeah,
natural free flowing conversation. I got the topics.
yeah,
I already dwell on the topics I want to talk about, and I think the conversation and just everything's gotten so much better because I used to look down at my paper. You could tell I was reading, and then
yeah,
now it's just like my mind is thinking as I'm talking. So
yeah. Sometimes it's better just to kind of open it up and let the conversation go where it wants to go.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, you gotta have that structure at first because
yeah.
otherwise you'd be like, what?
So,
And,
yeah,
and and every once in a while that will happen, and then I'll gain back my train of thought. I got ADHD, so like my mind is like I'll start talking about one thing, but then like the rabbit holes start, and I have to
yeah,
talk about this and that so I can lead it back to what I originally started talking about.
yeah, yeah.
Now, you being pretty well known on Instagram, like I forgot how many you're up there in like the the thousands. It's definitely more than me. But I mean, dealing with being putting yourself out there as like a known cigar personality, like has that really helped out with you working at a shop? Like, do people when they're in town, they seek out the shop to come see you type thing? Because
Yeah.
I know for me that's how it works. Like I've had a lot of people. I live by where the people go on cruises. So
Hmm.
if they're like from up north and are stopping at Port Canaveral on the way
Oh,
to the
that's cool.
Bahamas, they get off the boat and come see me. So it's pretty
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly am not at the shop as much as my husband is,
Yeah,
but there have definitely been times people have come in and been like, "Hey, I heard, is Rojo Corojo here? I heard she works here or whatever," and so that's fun. That's something that's like new for me. But it doesn't happen all the time either. I mean, Boise is not one of the cigar hotspots. It's not like
yeah,
Miami or somewhere in Florida.
yeah,
Um, but it's fun too. I mean, I'm hoping to be able to go to more events and kind of travel a little bit more and kind of see where that goes. But um,
yeah.
yeah,
Have you been to any like of the big national cigar events, like the Great Smoke or stuff like that yet? Or
I haven't been to the Big Smoke. I did go to PCA this last year, which was pretty fun. I went with the Vault.
yeah,
So it was really, really fun to go, with our retailer and just kind of see all the time and energy that it goes into ordering and all the meetings, and also just being able to meet some of the faces behind the companies.
yeah.
So
So how
It was,
many of these big name people when you went to PCA, like I'm talking like were you surprised by people who knew who you were or whatever, or because I know that's happened to me before. Like when
yeah,
Carlito Fuente started liking my posts on social media or like commenting, I'm like, Carlito Fuente is like
yes,
interacting with me on social media.
yeah. No, it was definitely like a foreign feeling for people to recognize me, just because the cigar community is both big and small at the same time. So obviously, to the rest of the world, like nobody knows who I am, and so it was, uh, it was just I don't know. It's hard to put into words. It was a very fun experience just to be able to be there, and there was like some people that recognized me or wanted to take a picture with me or something. And yeah, it was also just really fun to meet some of the people that I had only interacted with or had followed on Instagram, and to be able to meet them in person. And so that was fun to be able to kind of do that all at the same place at PCA. So
Yeah, most definitely. I love being a public person because like I go to like a major cigar, like the Great Smoke, which is what Smoke In puts on every year, not to be
yeah.
confused with the Big Smoke. I've been
Hmm.
going there since like 2019, which I regret it. I should have been going like for years and years prior, but once I went for the first time, I was like, I got to come back every year. It's like less than
Yeah.
2 hours from me. I'm there. So, but
Yeah.
this past year it was a luau themed event, and so of course now I got a good relationship with Smoke In. Like I literally have permission to walk in there shirtless, even if it's not like a regular like event or whatever. So we're at the
Yeah.
South Florida Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
I got to lay on. I'm just I literally I left my shirt in the car. I'm like literally
That's part of your
walking around
persona. You
shirtless,
have to.
and
You're not
everybody
shirtless Mike with a shirt on.
exactly. And so places where I have that good relationship, I won't be wearing a shirt because they understand and they support the vision and all that. But like it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like if I'm someplace where it's like I don't have that relationship with the higher ups like that, I still have people harassing me.
Yeah.
Like I went to the Cigar Heritage Festival in Tampa, and I went and bought cigars from a lot of people, and I didn't have to introduce myself, which it was crazy. I haven't met a lot of the people that I bought cigars from, but there was like,
Yeah.
oh, you're shirtless Mike, and then like there's people that, by the end of the event I had to just walk around shirtless because everybody wanted to take pictures, and I'm just like,
You're like, yeah, that's me.
yeah. And then that's how I got the picture on my Facebook, my cover
Yeah.
photo with Carlito Fuente and Joe Bianco, because
Nice.
I ran into Carlito and he was like, "Are you okay, brother? You need a shirt." He started like, taking his scarf or whatever, and I was just like, I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that was the most epic picture I've ever taken. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, when I went to PCA, I wasn't going as Rojo Corojo. I was just kind of, I definitely kind of took a backseat to just letting, um, like being a part of the meetings and just enjoying being a part of the process. So I
yeah,
wasn't, marching into all the different booths being like, hey, you know who I am. So I was just
yeah.
kind of like
You don't have
observing and
to.
just
If they know who
excited to
you are,
be
they're gonna
there.
tell you.
Right. So I was just excited to be there. And, obviously a lot of the either bigger companies or whoever, not all of them are either active on social media or run their accounts. So like, obviously I knew that there were going to be quite a lot of people who wouldn't know or give a shit who I am anyway.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I was just glad to be a part of the process and just to be able to experience it. So,
yeah. One big event, which I'm not sponsored by Smoking or nothing like that. I just have a good relationship with them.
mhm.
But if you can, next time you come to, it's March in 2023, the Great Smoke. It's a Mardi Gras theme.
Oh,
The actual event's on a Saturday. They have a few pre-parties, leading up to that, but it's a huge party. Last year I did my official birthday bash there, but now it's in March, so
nice.
I'm gonna do my birthday bash local at my shop and do like a roast or whatever, and have people roast me, which will be fun. But
When's your
the Great
birthday?
Smoke's always fun. you and your husband gotta hit the Great Smoke.
Yeah, we'll have to put
And
that on our list.
like it's very affordable. It's like $167. You get a bunch of stuff with that price. The most expensive thing that is getting there, with your hotel and or Airbnb and flight or whatever. But that's the most
Mhm.
expensive part, And then if you decide you don't you don't have to buy a whole bunch of extra cigars, but you're going to. But
Yeah,
you're also going to receive a lot of cigars too. You're going to have to bring
sure.
extra room to bring all those cigars back.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
You have to bring an
definitely.
empty suitcase.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Like it's an
Yeah,
awesome time, and there's a lot of people in the industry that go there. Like they're part of the passing out cigars and all that. But then like at the end of the night, a lot of the big names they all go to the Boynton shop because the after party's at the West Palm store, and so it's kind of loud. So if you want to be around some big names, just go to the Boynton Beach shop. And I
yep.
was sitting around with Saka last year and
Oh,
Kurt
nice,
Kendall and Ronnie Haisha, and I'm talking about like some big names. Abe was hanging out there, like so
nice.
it's definitely a good time. That's the one event that I personally make it a point to go to every year because they show a lot of love to me. But even if they didn't, even if I was just a number in the crowd or whatever, like it would still be an awesome experience.
Yeah. When's your birthday?
In February, on February 22nd.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I just got the date locked in for my birthday bash, and so I'm not gonna promote it too heavy till closer to the time. But I already dropped the flyer because with that you have to give people time if people's coming from out of town and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring the whole county out. All the cigar shops are gonna be empty except for mine. So no
The way to
offense to
do
all my
it.
friends at other shops. It's just how it's gonna be on my birthday.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it.
But yeah,
That'll be fun.
we're getting close to the end of the show. If there's anything else that you want to shout out or mention, this is the time to do it. It's definitely been a good show. Lots of people tuning in, watching, and all that good stuff. So yeah, the floor is yours. Whatever you want to talk or drop knowledge on the people or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody rolls through Boise, Idaho or Meridian, Idaho, come by the vault. We got our liquor license last summer. So we have a really nice selection there, and we just put in a patio too, and so it's a really, really cool spot. People have really been enjoying it. So if you ever come through, stop by, and I'll let you guys know about all the exciting things on the horizon.
You already know I will if I ever make it out to Idaho
Yeah,
one day.
you got to.
You already know I got to check in. And any person that's a leader when I go to their city, I check in, and it's up from there.
Yep, perfect.
So yeah, well, I appreciate you, Hannah, for coming on the show tonight. It's been a
Thank
blast.
you so much for having me.
I was glad we finally got to make it happen because I know the first time around it didn't work out, but everything
Yes, I'm
happens when it's
sorry about
supposed
that.
to.
Yeah.
It's okay. I was on vacation, so I needed to recover anyway. So I'm
It'll
always
work
on
out though.
go. I'm always on go. So
Yeah,
after a vacation, you need a couple days to recover. So.
that's true.
But
That's
yeah,
very
so
true.
everybody out there watching, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. If this is your first time watching from YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like my page, Shirtless Mike. Check out teamshirtlessmike.com. I got articles up there. I got a swag store. It's getting cold. We got hoodies up there now. I got mine coming. I ordered my own hoodie because, it's going to get cold eventually. A little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. It's
Yeah.
almost hoodie season. But yeah, so I will let you know when we're not live so we can talk that real shit.